Welcome to Thorin's YouTube channel. Andrew, shut the fuck up, you piece of shit. Welcome to Thorin's YouTube channel. It's gonna be a wild ride. GG, motherfuckers.
The project codenamed B-Site is not ECS. I can appreciate why there's been confusion from pro players, from teams, especially in light of some of Faceit and ECS's decisions or mistakes in the past. I actually think it's understandable. It's been poorly messaged. I mean, quite frankly, there's been no official communication on the matter, on the league, except the talent announcement and me saying that I was involved. So I can clarify right now the situation in terms of the hierarchy within B-Site and what Faceit, what their role is, and why this is not ECS 2.0 or ECS Season 9 just relabeled. And this is going to be a way, by the way, that I will use my social media and my YouTube account. I will still give you my perspective and my opinions as I do here and on By the Numbers, but I can also give you facts and figures in a way I couldn't previously. I mean, I could have as a journalist in theory, but I will actually know them 100%. I won't even be relying upon sources. So here's the situation. ECS was Faceit's project that they owned. B-Site, which is not the final name, is an entirely different project established by people unrelated to Faceit or ECS. Faceit, get ready for some numbers, boys and girls, owns 0.5% of the league. As such, they do not have anything approaching majority ownership or decision-making power. They are the league operators. They use their skill set in running online and offline tournaments to run the tournaments and the qualifiers that make up the physical component of B-Site. The actual servers, admin the actual match, control the qualifier, do these schedule things that are not a joke at all, and you want experienced people working in that regard. Now, if they remain as the operators of the league, at our discretion, for the next 3 years, then their ownership stake will grow to 5.5% at the end of that period of time. So they will earn an increasingly vested interest in the league based on their performance in their specific role, an area actually they're very good in that doesn't involve a lot of the mistakes of the past that they made with ECS and with Faceit. We, though, the people involved with B-Site and the people who are the decision makers, who are my bosses, will have the option of choosing another operator, but ideally that scenario won't arise. We'll just continue on with Faceit. They'll vest to their 5.5%. Everything will be great. Now, to put that in context here, not just have a number that's floating around there with nothing to reference it to, every team that has bought into the B-Site project, there are a number of them, has a higher ownership stake than Faceit, both now, when they only have 0.5% Faceit, and even when Faceit, if they indeed manage to, potentially vest to the 5.5% in 3 years. So they aren't even among the teams which themselves are minority owners as big as those people, and they are not in decision-making positions. Now, obviously, this has come up in the context of the recent ESL Pro League drama, where they took, I think it was something like 48 overall slots covering all these different regions in the world, and they slashed them down to like 24. Even then, no one knows those teams yet. Those were just the invited teams that were announced. So you saw players in the context of that, when everyone had the backlash against EPL, I think justified. I myself went nuts and said I'll never work with them again. You saw players, pro players, suggesting that in the past they'd had ECS slots denied them or taken from them, or in the Faceit League even before ECS, and that they hadn't been invited to ECS. So, listen, I understand that. I even said to people like Angel and Pronax, I think that's fucked up. I don't think that was right either. Obviously, it's key to understand that since ECS no longer exists and is disappearing, those slots no longer exist. Now, some have wondered or suggested, isn't that a bit similar to what ESL or EPL's doing? I've just explained how it isn't, because this isn't Faceit's league. They don't own this league. They aren't even close to one of the big owners. In fact, they're one of the smallest owners possible in the league. ECS closed down due to the economic conditions in CSGO. Basically, EPL and ECS are on a fucking race to bankruptcy right now unless someone cracks the solution to how to get monetization. This is a new league entirely. Now, EPL, ESL's Pro League, cannot say the same. It is the same parent company, the same decision makers, it is the same brand. They literally just decided one day they wanted to have less teams overall to pay out less revenue to those teams in the new model, and they wanted certain teams in and certain teams out, and so they cut and added as they pleased. I will address that elsewhere in separate content. Now, by the way, I'll say at the end here, you don't have to tell me about some of the issues with ECS and Faceit and disliking some of the decisions they've made. I was only hired to work at one of the first 7 seasons of ECS. Mainly, by the way, that one occasion, I was even told it was actually to spite another talent that had turned them down last second and to fuck with that guy. I was asked to work at the last one, ECS Season 8, the one at the end of the year that Astralis won over Team Liquid, but scheduling unfortunately prohibited me from doing so, and I couldn't attend that one. And that was also, I will go and add, after the whole B-Site project was starting to become in motion, so who knows if I ever would have been hired by Faceit for ECS again. So I'll also add in, a not minor detail, that when Faceit had their only major, the Faceit Major London, I wasn't invited to work at that event. In fact, I wasn't even contacted and consulted or negotiated with or given any kind of advance information about would you even be open to. They didn't even give a fuck. And that was in my home country, the country I was born and lived the majority of my life in. Now, that's all due to the beef that I had with Faceit at the time. So I have plenty of reasons to dislike Faceit and what they have done in the past. They just don't apply to this project whatsoever. That's not the role that they're in. And the role that they actually are in, I think, is an appropriate role and one from which they can succeed and the B-Site project can succeed. And again, to reiterate, they own 0.5%. If they do their job well over the next 3 years, they can get up to 5.5%, and that is less than any team will own in this league. The percentage will be higher and is higher right now. This video was kindly supported by Alexander Rao, Blunt Smoking Anus Destroyer, Dane Cuskley, Dean Tanglis, Chi Mao, JDubs, NateDOhDoubleG, Peter the Feeder, Tobias Bernasconi, and a special thanks goes out to Jerky's Minion and Mohammed, Alabdul, Razzaq. Do you want to suggest a topic or a guest for my content? Maybe you'd like to ask me a question in my monthly Patreon AMA. Would you like teasers on upcoming content that I'm doing? Maybe you want to take part in a discussion directly with me? Well, if so, then put your money where your mouth is and join the Scrilluminati today at the Patreon link in the description below.